First and foremost, I want to thank MaffmanJones for having me a part of this collaboration, the first collaboration on my channel, and let's kick it off with Elysium. Filmheads, it is a big week, it is a big weekend. We've got Planes, we've got We're the Millers, we've got Percy Jackson, and I think that's it. Oh, no, we have Elysium. Yeah, that movie. The new Neil Blomkamp movie starring Matt Damon that I've been highly anticipating this whole year, and it's finally here. And, guys, I gotta say, I really like this movie. I really, really like this movie. From the start, I'm going to tell you, this movie's great. But to go a little bit more in depth, as I always do, we're going to follow the story. And we've got Earth. It is completely just... It's polluted, overpopulated, everything is wrong with the Earth, and we've got all these rich people who have made a planet called Elysium. Everything's perfect, you can clear up cancer just like that in one snap, and everyone wants to get there, but the underprivileged people aren't allowed to go there because, well, they're dirty, and we don't want to do the same thing to Elysium that we did in Earth. So now I follow Matt Damon, who gets poisoned in a way. He gets nuclear radiation into him in an accident during work, and the doctor, not the doctor, but someone says, hey, you've got 5 days to live, and he's like, well, now I have no choice but to go to Elysium to cure myself. So now he starts, things happen, and he starts to realize the mission gets a little bigger and a little more complicated than what he originally thought, because his love interest comes along, and she says, hey, my daughter has leukemia, take her with you. And he's like, I don't know if I can do that. So now he's conflicted, and he's got a lot more going on. He's got people after him. A lot of stuff is going on. Matt Damon has all the weight on his shoulders, and it is a very fun action film. I absolutely love the action in this movie. I love the technology. I love everything about the visuals, the camera work. Neil Blomkamp, this guy absolutely nailed it with this film. He did District 9, which I loved. It was, I didn't find one thing wrong with that film. I love District 9. It was one of my favorite sci-fi movies in recent memory. Then he comes out with Elysium, and I was not disappointed. I had high expectations, and they met those expectations, but they didn't surpass them. The movie's not perfect, and I'll get to that in a minute. But I want to talk about Jodie Foster. I want to talk about Matt Damon. The acting in the film is very well done. Matt Damon, in all honesty, I couldn't find someone else who could do this role, who could fit this guy. He's made for this role. You know, he's buff. You know, he's got the attitude. He's sort of selfish in a way. He's very conflicted with himself. And then you meet Jodie Foster, who sort of runs everything in Elysium. She's sort of like the main boss. Everyone looks up to her. Everyone gets her guidance and asks her for things. So she plays sort of the antagonist in a way in this film. There's also another guy I'll get into later. And you just don't like her because she's very stuck up. She's got the short haircut. And the thing is, she does fine, but anyone could have played her role. She really didn't go above and beyond to really nail a really good, like, menacing woman role, like, of power. Yeah, she had power, but she didn't impress me as much as our main antagonist in the film, and I'm sorry, I forgot his name. He is the main guy in District 9, but in this movie, he plays the antagonist. He plays the bad guy that Matt Damon has to go against. This guy is absolutely fantastic, and I can't decide if I liked him better in District 9 or this, but I can say that I'm really excited to see what he does in the future with Chappie, with District 10, if that's ever going to go through, and a possible Halo movie. I want to see this guy and everything Neil Blomkamp does, which brings me to my main point about the film that I want to get across to you guys and Neil Blomkamp. Neil Blomkamp goes for a message in his films. He did it with District 9. He's doing it with this. And I don't want him to become another M. Night Shyamalan, where everyone sees him as, oh, he's the guy who does all the twists. People mock M. Night Shyamalan and Michael Bay for having his explosions. I don't want Neil Blomkamp to become one of those people who always has messages in his films, and everyone is like, oh, another Neil Blomkamp movie, it's going to be good, but his message is going to just throw everything off. And in this movie, the message in the film, which is more like healthcare and liberals and conservatives, it really does show that it weakened the movie more than it brought it up. You know, you have this great action film, we've got a lot of sci-fi elements, we've got this awesome technology, and then he throws the message in, and it fails because it didn't really add on to the movie. It sort of took away because the plot was weaker than like the action. I had more fun watching it than actually like knowing about what was going on with the message, with what's going on. You know what I mean? And Neil Blomkamp if he keeps going on this route, he's going to be one of those people who, like I said, he's going to be another Michael Bay, he's going to be another M. Night Shyamalan. We don't have a lot of great sci-fi directors who make their own original material. Sure, we've got Joss Whedon, and we've got J.J. Abrams, but they rely on source material, stuff like Marvel and things like that. This guy makes his own scripts. You know, this guy writes everything. He has some partner for District 9, but with this one, he wrote this movie, and he needs to stray away. I hope his next film, Chappie, isn't another message film, because just from there, I don't want to be expecting what we're going to see when it comes to Neil Blomkamp. With Michael Bay, we can pretty much assume, we're going to get some explosions. With M. Night Shyamalan, we're going to get a twist. But with Neil Blomkamp, I want him to be unpredictable. I want to have a great original sci-fi director on our hands that we can look forward to. With James Wan, he's a great example of a person who can make a movie of a certain genre but still have originality in his script and his writing. With Neil Blomkamp, I really hope he turns and changes his ways when it comes to message films. I hope he strays away from that. Sure, you can have some, but I'm telling you right now, please don't make every film that you come out with a message film with politics and things like that. It just takes you out of the sci-fi element, and that happened with me in this film. But other than that, guys, I had a blast with this film. Matt Damon does his thing, the action, the visuals, the guy knows how to work a camera, and I had a blast watching all of these people do all these awesome things. We had a great villain, great story. It was just a very fun time. See it in the theaters. See it in IMAX if you can. Just go out and see it. It is worth the movie price. Don't see Two Guns. Don't see Smurfs 2. Don't see any of that. See Neil Blomkamp's Elysium, because it is one of the best of the summer and possibly one of the best of the year.
Hey guys, it's me, MaffmanJones, also known as John Maffio. That's my real legalized name. I like to wear glasses when I'm in someone else's house because I like to be a little differentiated. But thanks for having such great hostility. I'm here to review Elysium with my good buddy here. I expected a lot from this movie, actually, because it's Matt Damon, it's Neil Blomkamp, who made an Oscar-nominated movie, District 9, and I actually came out enjoying it quite a bit. It was a really fun sci-fi action flick. It had, oh my god, great action. The acting was really good, but I thought it a bit strange, because Matt Damon was good, and then you have Jodie Foster, who had this weird accent, and she was a totalitarian for Elysium, the actual planet. Wait, did I just call Elysium a planet? Ignore that. Sharito Copley plays the antagonist. He has a really sick beard, he has a samurai sword, and he has this crazy accent that's like a mix of a bunch of ethnicities. But, you know, he was really malicious. He was scary. He was ominous. He didn't have much of a motivation, though. That's my only problem with him. He was just going around killing people for no reason, just because he's sent on assignments to kill people. That's it. Neil Blomkamp really knows how to direct sci-fi. Really hardcore, rated R action sci-fi. And you really can see that here with the action sequences and the way. I like the direction of the story and where it went, even though it kind of reminded me of another movie, I Am Legend. Not to spoil anything, but that's just what it reminded me of. By far, my favorite aspect of this film is the visuals. Neil Blomkamp knows how to make a really nice looking movie on a really low budget, and CGI was totally convincing. I mean, I knew it was there, I was aware of it, but it was still very impressive nonetheless. And the atmosphere he created between the poverty-infested Earth and the privileged, rich, expensive Elysium, I like that diversity. I also like the subtle touch-ups on the themes of immigration and the 1%, and all that crazy stuff in politics, and some of it's a little forced down, I mean, if you notice it, but it's still really cool that they're bringing up real-life issues in movies like these. If I had any problems with Elysium, it would be that the side characters were very shallow. I mean, they were what they were, there was no real backstory to them, and Matt Damon, he's likable as the actor, but, I mean, he's Matt Damon, of course. The actual character, though, had a very one-noted motivation. He had to get there because he was going to die. That's in the plot. It's not a spoiler. And there's no real, you don't really have a reason to relate to him and like him just because he's going to die. So you should feel sympathetic for him, which you can. But I don't think that's enough sometimes for a movie. But it worked. There's also shaky cam. And we all know how critics hate shaky cam. Hate, double hate, loathe entirely. But yeah, overall, Elysium is hardcore R-rated sci-fi amazeballs. Elysium is a really fun movie, and I would recommend it highly. And for my rating system, I would give it a darn good movie system, and that's basically a 4 out of 5 stars. So it's pretty solid rating in my book. And that's it for me. Back to you.
And guys, go check out MaffmanJones. You got some great points going on, man, and I agree with a lot with what you said. And I'm glad you enjoyed it for the most part. And go check out his stuff, because the guy, I love his reviews. He's got a lot of cool stuff on his page. You know, the guy knows how to review movies, and he's really good with what he does. Go subscribe to him. I've got his link in the description. And as always, guys, I'm the Modern Film Critic, signing off.
Follow me. Stay close. You have no idea